So I've been trying to be a better man recently and trying to increase my knowledge by getting into reading more.
Knowledge, yeah.
Yeah, even though like lately I've been reading more fiction than nonfiction, I recently picked up Percy Jackson. And I love those books, man. I read them when I was a kid.
I've heard of them. I just know them from the movies, which I know you mentioned to me. The movies never do the actual book justice.
Yeah, the first movie actually is like low-key a banger in a way. Like in that weird like teen fantasy
Is that the
way.
one where he used the iPod to defeat Medusa with the reflection?
Yeah.
Which is freaking genius.
Anyway, so I'm currently on book 3, and I'm having a great time reading it. So Disney Plus is actually making a show on the books, and
Nice.
I was out of curiosity. I was perusing through like set photos basically on IMDb, and I was like, I'm gonna show you this photo here. I pulled something up from the set. There's a picture here. This guy, one of the characters, his name's Gabe in the book.
Gabe?
He's got something going on in the background.
Oh my god, dude.
He has it framed.
A framed Zach Wilson jersey?
Zach Wilson jersey. That means he's
Gabe.
just deplorable.
In this picture, it looks like he's like, what? This is like, he has like kind of like a smile on his face.
Mhm.
Looks like he's like, has a little, it looks like he's watching a game or something like that.
I think it's so funny that like, of all the jerseys, like you wouldn't have a framed Joe Namath. His character plays poker every day with his buddies. And
He's a Jets fan.
Yeah, and he's a Jets fan.
Mike
That's honestly
plays.
like a funny joke. I'm tempted to frame one now, honestly.
That would be funny. That's insane, dude. Episode 9 of the Jets Up North podcast. We're almost at 10. Next
Time
week's going to
is
be a
flying.
party.
Yeah.
And we got another one. We're back off the bye. It's exciting. There's football again this week. Jersey order came in. I got my A-Rod. We're still waiting on some others. Eventually we'll talk about the jersey curse, but that won't be a today thing. But, I'm rocking it proudly. It looks
You know what is curse is we did order this
before
prior to
week
the
1.
season, so jersey curse.
I know. My buddies let me have it every week. But I will proudly say Mekhi Becton, jersey curse redemption right now. Because I got him as like at the end of his rookie season, I got his jersey. And, of course, then he was hurt 2 years. But then so everyone was like, oh, the curse. But now he's probably our best offensive lineman that's still active.
Yeah, I think that's a fair argument.
So, we got an exciting matchup this week. It's the Battle of New York here, the Snoopy Bowl at Jetlife Stadium. We got a couple things to talk about. We're going to talk about our bye weeks.
Yeah.
Then we're going to kind of take a little peek at the picks that we made so far this season, see where we were right, where we were wrong, where, who has the better advantage out of the two. After that, we're going to obviously look at eventually we'll look at the matchup this week against the Giants. But before that, we're going to look at the Jets' kind of offensive and defensive rankings as in comparison with the rest of the league, see where they stack up. Now that we're several games into the year, we can kind of get a good picture of what this team's strengths and weaknesses are. And then, lastly, we're going to talk about the game against the 2-5 Giants. It's kind of a big game for both sides, but we'll get to that in a bit. And then, we'll end it off with score predictions. So,
hell yeah.
First things first, Adam, how was the bye week for you?
It was good. It was nice, stress-free.
Did you watch like a lot of football on Sunday?
Not really. I watched like the first slate of games on Red Zone as one normally does. I did my morning Sunday routine.
Hang out, have a coffee.
Yeah, I woke up, had a coffee, relaxed, vibed out. But then as soon as the afternoon slate hit in, I got kind of like Sunday scaries a bit. So I was like, you know what?
Yep.
I just mentioned I was reading the Percy Jackson book, so I started reading that instead.
Nice.
Just vibing out.
Way better.
Afternoon.
There was it didn't seem like there was that many fantastic games. I'm trying to think off the top of my head because myself, I watched, same as you, I watched some of the morning games. I have 2 written down here. Obviously, I mean, we can talk about it. The Bills and Patriots game, which everyone thought, very how many not very often we cheer for the Patriots, but man, this was one of those times you're like, let's freaking go, Bill. Bill Belichick, my king.
In my entire life, man, I've cheered for the Patriots. I could probably count on one hand how many times I've cheered for them.
Probably, yeah, exactly.
Sunday was one of them.
So there was a slate, my bye week, it was pretty much similar to yours. Hang out in the morning, have some coffee, but the new Spider-Man 2 game came out on Friday, and man, I already platinumed it.
That's insane. How did you do that?
Dude, I was up till I'm like a pretty early bedtime type of guy. but no, man, I was up till like 2 a.m. almost like So it came out Thursday at 10 p.m. I played it till like 2 a.m. Friday it worked. Then played it again that night, probably till like 1:30, and then grinded on Saturday, and then Sunday I started watching football, and then I was like, yeah, back to the grind, baby. Bye week was chill, but man, I'm excited for some Jets football this week.
Me too, man.
We're gonna really quickly go over our weekly pick'em that up to today. We did a picks before the season began. And then obviously right after that happened, Rodgers got hurt week 1. So then we readjusted our picks because we're like, that's not fair. We got to, temper expectations a little bit. But I think we're both sitting pretty good with what we
are.
What we
I'm surprised with us, honestly, man.
I'm proud of
for
us.
Us.
Yeah. So really quickly here, I'm 4-2. Adam's 4-1 or 5-1. The only difference, so we both picked Bills as a dub, Cowboys as Sorry, I said Cowboys as a loss. He said Cowboys as a dub.
I did.
I said Patriots win. He said Patriots loss. He said Chiefs loss. We both said Chiefs loss. We both had Broncos win, and then he had Eagles win, and I had Eagles loss. So I'm at 4-2. You're at 5-1. You're edging me out just that
My
much.
boldness paid off.
We'll readjust this again. Another 4 games down the road and see where we're sitting at now. But that's pretty good. Like that's you were from the first episode. You're like, bro, Eagles are going down this year.
I just felt it in my gut.
I love it.
Like, it's not often that your gut is wrong. I don't know. I like to just follow my gut.
Works 80% of the time every time.
It do.
No, so it's exciting. I mean, it kind of feels good that even after we tempered expectations there, that we're still pretty close.
Yeah. And I think it goes to show you, not that these records, us predicting our win-losses for the team means like a ton, but I think it goes to show you how like in tune with the team we are. We know the strengths, and
weaknesses. Yeah, exactly.
Like
right.
So like we somewhat know what we're talking
and
about.
like before this, before the Rodgers injury, I had the Chiefs game as a dub, and like even with the Rodgers injury, game was everyone knows it was right down to the wire. So it was this close to going the other way. Saleh said in one of his pressers that we were a couple bounces from like literally being 5-1 at the bye, which I don't think he's entirely wrong. You look at the Patriots game, you look at the Chiefs game, 2 winnable games. But you can't go back and change anything. So
this team is so stacked.
I know. Oh. And you're watching some of these other games during the bye week, and you're like, dude, the Jets would wipe, like the Raiders.
Oh, I know. I cannot wait.
I'm like, how is this? They were 3-3 before the game they lost to the Bears. I'm like, how are they 3-3?
I know, it's
crazy. Moving on here, we're going to talk quickly about the Jets offense and defensive rankings. I think it's very interesting kind of see where the team stacks up, especially coming off the bye week. It's a good time to look at it.
Definitely.
Really quickly, I try to pick out some ones that I thought were really interesting, so I'm just going to kind of rattle them down. Points per game were just below average with 18.8. Yards a game, 277, which is 30th. Third down percentage, which isn't surprising, we're 25%, which is dead last. Fourth down percent, though, 60%, and we're 9th best in the league.
I mean,
so how about we just don't convert on third down and just go for it every time? The Eagles have to be probably number 1 or close to.
They gotta be, yeah.
Red zone scoring, this one's not surprising, 29.4. That's dead last, of course.
Brutal.
Yards per rush, 5.2, which is third, which is
Brees.
crazy. Brees the Beast, that's why he's in the graphic. Rush yards a game, again, pretty good, 117.5, which is 12th. And then pass yards a game, dead last with a $159.5.
So pass yards a game.
And then last but not least, field goal percentage, 7th in the league, 94%. Greg the leg.
Shout out Greg, man.
So
feels good.
Oh, that's been great. So overall, what you mean? I feel like this offense is like on paper. Looking at these numbers, I feel like it's on par with last year. Would you say so?
Yeah. It definitely is reminiscent of last year. It's just it is kind of frustrating watching a team that's not so successful in third down or in the red zone. They're ranked 32nd in both of those categories.
Super important stats, yeah.
And even the passing yards a game being ranked 32nd, it's just football's more fun when your quarterback's airing it out.
Yeah.
So definitely makes me miss Rodgers a little bit more. But I don't know. We're 3-3, so I can't really be sitting here like.
And the optimist in us, of course, wants to be like, "Hey, we talked about it last week. After the bye, like, let's hope that like they clean some things up."
Yeah.
Like, the fact that like the Jets were getting in the red zone so much, but like you see, we're dead last.
Yeah.
That gives you hope that if they can kind of figure some stuff out that like maybe they can, bump that up a little
Totally,
bit.
totally.
But yeah,
And
like
it's only 6 games into the season.
exactly.
There's
And
a lot more ball to
this
let
team is
people
still
play.
finding their identity on offense. Obviously, we're going to be with Brees, or the run game's going to be huge for us. But I mean, we've seen it with the eye test since the Chiefs game. Zach's taken steps forward, even though he wasn't great in the Eagles game.
He looks like, I don't know how to. He just looks more confident.
He's
more
the
in
best
rhythm.
version of himself that we've seen since he's been in the
Definitely,
league. So that's
definitely.
like what you can ask for.
It means something.
Moving on to defense. Story's a little bit different here. Some shocking numbers, actually. A couple surprises, but I think it's always interesting with the context of the game, right? Because if the defense is out there for 1 million plays,
I know.
of course their averages are going to be high.
I find it bizarre. Like I saw, it was just a random post, but it was on like Bleacher Report, and it was like ranking the top defenses in the league.
Yeah,
the Jets were an honorable mention.
Brutal.
And I just think it's hilarious. It's like if Rodgers was healthy, everyone would know that this defense is like top 3.
Top tier. And I feel like everyone else who's actually watching the games and all the players are saying this Jets defense is legit.
Go ask any fan other than like a Cowboys fan.
Yeah.
How good our defense is. That have played us. I mean.
Yep. Man, yeah, go out, like go. You saw like what Jason Kelsey was talking about on his podcast.
Go ask an Eagles fan. Go ask a Chiefs fan. Go ask a Bills fan. They'll tell you.
Yep. So going through these stats here, points per game 19.8, which is 13, so that's pretty good, almost just outside the top 10. Yards a game 351.8, which is crazy that's 24th.
They have like that bend don't break.
Exactly. That'll show up here as we kind of go down the list here. Touchdowns allowed per game 1.7, so that adds to your 6th in the league.
Yeah.
Bend don't break, like you said.
There was that one timeout. There was that stat I put in the last video. The Jets have only allowed 1 touchdown in the second half this entire season.
Crazy. Red zone percentage for the defense 36.8.
That's unreal.
That is so good.
Yeah.
Like. That means, so like exactly what you said, bend don't break.
Yeah.
That's been the kind of story with this Jets defense. Rush yards a game, 135.2, so 26, so not great. So that's kind of where that team's weakness is, because they're able to get after it. But also this team is usually, like, how often is this team's playing from behind? That kind of makes sense. The Jets are getting down multiple possessions, right? There's context to these. Completion percentage allowed, 17th in the league with 65.9. So, like, I'd say, like, just below, like, a tad below average, but you're happy with that.
Yeah.
Yards per pass, though, 9th in the league with 6.1 yards downfield.
I wonder if people seeing Dak, like dink and dunk us, other QBs are following
Same with
suit.
Mac. Mac was doing a lot of that, too.
So, I mean, it makes sense. It lines up.
Yep. And then a super important one here is the turnover differential. The Jets are +5.
I love that.
Which is tied for 7th in the league, which
that.
is great. So that's very exciting. I mean, the reason they won the Eagles game solely was all those turnovers and not committing any, right?
Yeah.
And so that's good to see. If you can keep that up, then you're going to be winning football games.
Totally.
Lastly here, which was one that kind of surprised me, was the sack percentage, which is just at 5.73. I tried to do a little bit more digging. I couldn't find a stat. And then right on my way over here, the Jets actually tweeted the stat that I was looking for, which is the Jets defensive line. So the Jets blitz 18.7% of the time, which is second lowest in the league, but their pressure rate is 41.9, which is third highest. Like every 10 passing plays, 4 of them, like there's pressure on the quarterback.
That's crazy, man.
Which is awesome. So
that's so valuable too, and that's what elevates our secondary.
And that's what gets those turnovers, right? That go
totally.
like I definitely think after kind of that Jalen Hurts interception that we talked about last week, one of the things I ended up reading was about how the play that the Jets defense ran, they ran it earlier in the game, and Tony Adams, I think, blitzed, and this time it was a fake, and he went back out, and that's why Jalen Hurts threw that, because he thought it was the exact same defense they saw earlier on that play.
Jeff,
so
you dirty dog.
Oh, man. I'm going to be sad if Jeff leaves us, but I think he definitely deserves it.
Oh, yeah, he'll probably get interviewed a bunch.
So then kind of looking into the individual players now on the Jets, I tried to pull up some the top 3 offensive guys, as well as kind of going through just some of the key defensive standouts. So really quickly, Zach Wilson on the years with, a 60.4 completion percentage, 182.8 yards a game, 4 touchdowns, the 5 picks, and then a 73.4 passer rating, which is kind of crazy enough. The 73.4 passer rating for Zach is insane.
Yeah, I feel like I'm staring at the Mona Lisa right now. It's art. Yeah. This is art.
It is. And it sucks because the bar is literally it's below our feet, dude. And we're like, yes, off, he's passing it. I'm still like that touchdown he threw against the Chiefs for the fade to
Where he
CJ,
was like,
faked it, is still like
yeah, that was
insane.
sex.
I was like, hey, Zach's alright, even though he hasn't done much since the Chiefs game. But
We said the same thing when he grittied.
yeah,
against
the gritty against the Steelers.
Steelers.
That
He's
one-
arrived.
Brees Hall, Brees the Beast, 66 rushes, 426 yards, 6.5 yards per carry with 2 touchdowns on the year. That doesn't account for his receiving yards.
Yeah.
He's kind of he's probably racked up almost close to 100 there.
You know, I
So
was thinking they need to utilize him in the red zone more. Those 2 touchdowns right
I know.
there. It's like there's got to be some avenue you can use him, like out in the flat, create space for him, let him do his thing.
I agree. I really hope that sometime soon, before the trade deadline, the Jets get rid of Dalvin or just do something. And I would love for Izzy and Michael Carter to just kind of
Disappear.
split that number 2 role, and whichever guy like steps above the other, which I actually think would be Izzy, because I thought he played so well in preseason. That would be great, just like for Brees to have just like somewhat of a resemblance of a complementary piece. Garrett Wilson, 32 catches, 369 yards, 5 yards a game, and 2 touchdowns. He's on pace for, again, over 1,000 receiving yards. I think this week, I'm calling it now, spoiler alert, I think Garrett Wilson has an insane game. He had that catch against the Giants in preseason. It's just a sign.
I would love it.
We're gonna get that big Garrett Wilson game.
I get to see him ball out.
It's
I get to see
coming.
him in person.
Yes, we haven't even said that yet. This week, we'll get to that a little bit. We'll do the game preview, but Adam's gonna be the game in person. And then for defense here, I'm just gonna pick a couple of the highlight a couple here because I have 7. But Quincy Williams, I think I saw a tweet where he was
crown him.
He's probably our defensive MVP. Probably,
arguably, yeah.
You could even argue team MVP this year.
You could argue, yeah. Everything he does.
60 tackles, 2 sacks, 6 tackles for a loss, a forced fumble, and 5 pass deflections. This man is all over the field. He is like he's possessed out there. It's crazy.
It's weird because he's like a baby Fred Warner in a way.
It is, and he has the green Joker dreads, which looks sick out of the helmet.
With
like,
Mosley too, with the red. It's
yeah,
just like this like duo.
That is true. Yeah. So speaking of Mosley, we got 59 tackles, 3 tackles for a loss, 4 pass deflections, a pick, and a forced fumble. That tandem of Quincy Williams and CJ Mosley, is that probably the best linebacking tandem we've had since like Bart Scott, David Harris?
Oh yeah, and what I think is so funny is how like the strength of our defense is supposed to be our D line and our secondary, and it's just these two guys.
And we thought going into this year our linebackers were gonna be like CJ's aging.
Yeah.
We lost Quan.
Yeah,
it's like
literally.
what are we gonna do at linebacker? It's
The
like
best players on the
yeah,
team.
it's like man, are like insane. And then another big notable here, I guess I'm gonna do quick 2 points. Quinnen, his stats don't show up compared like to everyone else's. He only has a half a sack, 18 tackles, the pick, and 3 tackles for a loss.
So funny.
It was great. But
I think he shows up when you're watching the game,
exactly,
not after the game.
Exactly, and
you know
there's it seems like a weekly thing. We were getting screenshots of him getting like double teamed and triple teamed.
Like those 19 tackles, I know it says he only has 3 tackles for loss, but those 19 tackles feel like they're all tackles for loss. He's always in the backfield.
He's just a disruptor. And and the thing with D-line is like you set other guys up to succeed. If you win your rep, sometimes you don't like get the point or the sack or whatever for the rep. Maybe someone else does, right? And I think like D-line is such a complimentary thing. If you have one good defensive lineman, teams are going to double and triple team him. But guess what? If you have multiple guys like Bryce Huff are going to get open. Guys like Jermaine Johnson, right? So last shout out here is Jermaine Johnson. He took the leap that we were hoping for this year. 18 tackles, 2 sacks, 4 tackles for a loss, 3 pass deflections, and a forced fumble. I still think that doesn't do him justice.
No.
His effort in the Eagles game was spectacular.
Just like superb, man.
He's just an athletic beast. It's funny that he wears number 11. And he's kind of like Micah Parsons Jr. for us. Like he's like a mini Micah Parsons, where he's just
he has like the same body type too. He's a big guy,
dude, like insanely athletic and fit. So it's this deep, like basically all this information tells us we're basically at where we were at last year when we were kind of in peak Jets mode, where it was like run game is spectacular, defense is helping us win games. Can our passing game just take a step forward? Can we just
I do enjoy having like an unreal defense and a sick run game because it's like you can win games with that.
I would get so frustrated if our defense was giving up touchdowns every single drive.
All we could rely on was Brees. Can you imagine? Anyways, it's just I would give a lot. I would drag my nuts through 100 feet of
burning coal,
glass, sandpaper, just to have like a good passing game.
Yeah.
I miss it. I really would like to see that. It hasn't been one since
2015.
2015. Like,
Fitzmagic, I know.
yeah. So I can't be mad with the process and the blueprint of the team. I just talking about
And you can't blame the team. They literally went and got Rodgers to take that step.
That's what I mean. It just makes me more sad that Rodgers isn't here.
Exactly. But I mean, all the signs are pointing that this year is going to be still there's a chance for us to make playoffs this year.
And at least we know.
Add to it next year, and then I would say it's like a tease at this point, but I'd say we're like 90% there that Rodgers is coming back. Like, it's not.
That's what I was just gonna say. It's like when he ruptured his Achilles, we were all like,
"Is it done? Is that it?
He even gonna come back?"
Yeah.
But it looks like all signs are
that
pointing
helps
to
the
him
pain a little bit.
Even
for
if
sure.
he doesn't come back this year, if we miss playoffs and doesn't come back, we still get to keep our first, and I could take solace
huge.
knowing he's coming back.
And the Packers are booty.
And we're gonna trade that first for Devontae Adams.
Or we're gonna draft like another talented wide receiver,
might as well.
just to help,
I don't
just a guy from Ohio State or something.
Yeah, sure. Why
Yeah.
not?
So that's kind of where the Jets stack up this year. Moving on to the Jets versus Giants. So the Jets are at 3-3, Giants are 2-5, just coming off a win against the Commanders. So looking up into some of the matchups to watch this week, I would say it kind of comes down to, I feel like we're at this point now, I feel like when we're looking at this Jets team, we're looking at the same strengths every week. But this one's kind of interesting because I think the biggest question is, can the Jets contain Saquon? Like last time, the game that you were also at that game.
Yeah, I was,
Unfortunately,
actually.
we don't have Jamal Adams to send off a blitz, strip Daniel Jones. If only, right? If only we could have him for that game.
But even though I really don't like Jamal, he's kind of not a nice guy when he left.
That was probably his best Jets moment.
That was. I got to see his best Jets moment, and it was right in front of me too. I was
that is crazy.
Sweet. That was cool.
It's still so funny the way he literally just mugs Daniel Jones.
I didn't know what was happening. It
happened so fluidly.
He
pushes him
he
off.
goes up to Daniel. He pushes away Barkley. Goes up to Daniel, hugs him, and then he's running down. And I was like, "What is happening?"
Yeah, it happened so quickly. He made it look so easy.
He did.
Walking to the back, he was like, "Excuse me, sir. Let me just take this." So, can they contain Saquon? They held him to what, 1 yard? That last time they matched up. I mean, I think it's safe to say that's probably not going to happen again.
He's such a beast, man. So, but prior to us recording, I was like, man, if I had Saquon in fantasy, I might bench him. But honestly, now that I think about it, and now that we reviewed our defensive stats and how many yards we allow, I could see. I think the way the Giants beat us is him,
if they maintain time of possession,
Yeah.
they burn us on the clock. Even then, they don't have to score every drive. Kick some field goals, and all of a sudden the Jets are playing from behind.
Yeah.
That's you don't want it to be that
exactly.
way. Because then the Jets defense are tired. They're out there for long drives. Jets have a 3-and-out, and then you're like, fuck, we're screwed because now Saquon's just going to keep running on us. So that's kind of the thing that you want to avoid. That kind of goes into this next point here, is this Giants offensive line versus the Jets D line. I mean, right underneath the graphic here, I kind of pulled up today's injury report. I mean, they got 3 offensive linemen right there. 4 of them, actually. Their backup offensive tackle's also questionable. But Thomas, Evan Neal, John Michael Schmitz, and then Matt Peart. I don't know.
Do you want to know what this means? It means we're going to get 1 sack and 4 pressures for some reason.
And some undrafted tackle is going to have the game of his life. I know.
It's so dumb.
I'm actually, funny enough, the way Tyrod Taylor... I'll save this point.
He's hard to sack, though.
Yeah. Oh, man. And just Jets fans, we know what Tyrod Taylor's like.
Exactly.
We dealt with it.
Yeah.
So, Giants offensive line versus the Jets D-line. Let's really hope that...
I was joking. I do think we tear them a new one, but
yeah. But just our luck, right?
Yeah, our luck.
Same old Jets sometimes. Yeah. That's always looming. It's on paper we should have this in the bag, but there's that same old Jets where there's a chance.
Cole and I are riding horses through a field, and there's a very dark cloud behind us constantly chasing us. And we just have to trust our horses.
Let's go.
Our faithful
Giddy up.
steeds,
Giddy up.
to keep us in this cloud. What's coming in? There's a
Dude,
storm.
it's that gif from SpongeBob where they piss off Sandy.
And they're running.
And they're running, and the lasso takes Patrick back. Yeah, that's literally same old Jets. It's we're running, and then it's oh, Zach Wilson, 6 turnover game. He pulls him right back. Yeah. So then next point here is the Jets offensive line versus the Giants D line. So flip it. Mm-hmm. This Jets offensive line, they look okay against the Eagles. They gave up a lot of. They gave up 5 sacks.
Weirdly enough, I do think this could be even though we've lost 2 key guys to injury, I do think this could be a bit of a get right game.
It should be.
The Giants have been they've been struggling to generate pressure. Yep. I think it was week 3, and Kayvon got their first sack as a team. They went 2 weeks.
5.5 now, which is crazy.
Yeah, I know. But a lot of them have been pressure sacks or
Yeah,
not
coverage
pressure
or-
coverage sacks.
Yep.
Sorry, yeah. I don't know. I wouldn't also be surprised if Zach was running for his life against these guys. Like Dexter Lawrence is always a threat. He's on
I like
Quinn's
him.
level. Like he's so good.
Yeah.
And he does the sexy Dexy dance.
Yeah, that's great. They also got. I mean, we mentioned Thibodeau. They also got Big Cat, Jets legend Leonard Williams.
Yeah.
So I mean, they got some dudes up front, which
They
can
do.
make this day difficult for the Jets. So let's really hope that the Jets offensive line, if we can just get the run game set up,
Totally.
give Zach. I think the Jets receivers are even like with Garrett and Lazard, like even what we have outmatches the Giants DBs. And even here, Adoree Jackson's questionable as well, which is one of their better corners. So kind of interested to see that. Last but not least, here is the elite quarterback matchup. We got two studs with Zach Wilson versus either Tyrod Taylor or Daniel Jones. It's to be determined. I was about to say this earlier, but I'm actually more worried if we play Tyrod Taylor than if we play Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones notorious for fumbleitis, but Tyrod Taylor, he'll randomly have those games where it's like he's so in control. He throws a beautiful ball.
And he can keep a play alive.
Exactly.
Really well. He's just like a very cerebral guy.
Obviously not on the level that he once was when his prime with Buffalo, when he was giving us headaches too. I remember so many frustrating games where he would just run around and dot us up with Rex Ryan as head coach, which is crazy. So yeah, a quarterback matchup. I mean, we'll kind of see how that shakes out. Adam, like, is there a specific player matchup, something you're kind of really looking forward to this game? I know you've been saying it from week one
I haven't,
that you're pumped to see Sauce Gardner in person.
And I said it even last week on the pod. I talked about I want to see Garrett, shake a dude. Something is kind of cool in a way is when I went last time. My roommate is a Giants fan for the viewers at home. And he and I have a tradition, as well as a third guy who comes along, of we go to the Jets Giants whenever they play, and they play every 4 years.
Yeah.
So we went last time in 2019, and Sam Darnold was the quarterback.
Yep.
So I get to see Zach Wilson in person. Maybe Nicolette will be there, however you say her name.
Yeah.
His girlfriend.
We go up to her and ask her, like, "Yo, where'd you get your number 2 chain necklace?"
I need Zach. Please.
That's gonna be so exciting. I mean,
and I get to see Robert Sala in person. It's
Dude.
always weird, like seeing these people on TV. You almost kind of forget that they're real people. So when you're like see them in person, you're kind of like kind of like you're starstruck. It's kind of surreal.
I think next week you got to do a little like not a PowerPoint, but basically like a slideshow presentation. Just take some when you're there. You'll take videos
pics,
and photos, and we can kind of talk about some of them
I'll
there.
do
Because
that.
I would love
That's
to
a great
see
idea. Yeah.
if you're there for like pregame. Be like,
we are tailgating.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll find Matt.
Bro, if you find NYJ Matt and plug the podcast to him, be like, bro, we're traveling
I'll get
from
a picture of me
Saskatchewan.
dapping him up.
That would be sick. That would, man, that would be great.
That'd be unreal.
I commented on their podcast, the Broadway Jets YouTube channel, and they responded. So very exciting stuff. Maybe we'll have a collab pod.
That
one
would
day.
be amazing.
That would be the most fun. I feel like we'd have to
collab
like
with
have some
them.
drinks for that. It would be like more of like a just shoot the shit type deal. But that'd be great.
100%. Last time I checked, we are 3-point favorites in the game.
It's probably the first time this year we're favorites.
Yeah, and technically we're away. Not that really matters.
No,
in
I
MetLife,
think Jets fans are gonna own it.
I'll be there. Like,
Do you know what you're wearing yet? Do you have the game
I
fit?
might, depending on the weather, I might wear this.
Nice.
If we ordered some jerseys, he's wearing one of the new ones we ordered. The rest haven't come in yet, as we talked about earlier.
You wear
in
the
pod.
sauce.
I would wear the sauce if it came in.
Yeah.
I guess we'll see. So I guess I could wear the Donald.
True.
For old time's sake.
You might have to Snapchat me because you're probably gonna go to the Jet shop.
Yeah,
Bro,
I could.
Might have to transfer you some funds. So you can.
Want,
It'd be sweet to get something from the stadium.
That would, I might have to dabble and just get like a legit sauce. Honestly,
bro, like a bobblehead would be sick.
That would be sick too. Put it right there.
Yeah. Woo. Last point here. Score prediction. Sorry. What do you think the outcome of this game is gonna be, Adam?
So prior to us starting recording, I told Cole my greatest fear, because both of these teams have good defenses, and at times both teams' offenses have looked anemic, bad.
Mm-hmm.
My biggest fear is a score being like 12-9, something like that. I don't predict that as the score.
I feel like the game the game which is probably like one of the worst games ever was the Colts Broncos game last year.
Imagine going to that.
Oh man, wasn't it
I
like there's a
shudder.
chance the Broncos? Sorry to cut you off, but there's a chance the Broncos had like a comeback and
Oh.
half the stadium like left already.
Literally, like that's how I would never leave, even if the Jets were losing 40-0. I paid money for it. I'm not.
Yeah,
leaving.
and you travel all that
And I'm a
way, bro.
fan.
Hang out and try and get a
Well, I'll just
picture
get
with
closer.
Sauce.
I'll just go closer.
Go to
so
the
people
lower
start flying
bowl.
out. Yeah, I'd be like Sauce,
Yeah,
Sauce.
I'm from Saskatchewan, bro.
Yeah. I think my score prediction is 27 to 21 Jets.
Wow. So it's
Yeah.
still close.
Yeah, it's a close game. I think it's just going to be like kind of back and forth. I don't think anyone's blowing out anyone. I think the Jets defense is too good to be blown out by a team like that's led by Tyrod or Daniel Jones. And I don't think Zach Wilson is good enough to blow out a team with a defense as good as the Giants.
Yeah,
So
that's fair. I like that prediction. I'm gonna go a little bit more spread out than that. I think I'm hopeful and optimistic that the Jets take care of business, go home and wipe the floor with the Giants,
Yeah.
and I think the final score is going to be 31-16.
I would love that.
The Giants.
I feel bad for Brett, my roommate, who's the Giants fan, who's going to be there with me. It's always kind of, it's not that it's awkward, but it's like.
It's
you're
kind of like when we watch
"Sorry,
the Eagles game
bro."
with Bryson.
Yeah, you're like,
where it's like
"Sorry,
a
man."
huge play happens for you
Yeah.
and you're jubilated,
Yeah.
but then you're like, bro, I'm sorry, like your team's ass, dude.
There is a universe though, like where the Giants play the Jets in the Super Bowl,
I know.
and that could be pretty tumultuous for our relationship, he and I.
That'd be terrifying, dude. Like,
as like really close friends, as brothers, you're like. Brett and I kind of had like a good way of settling it almost. Basically, we both bet like a lot of money on the other team.
so it's a win-win.
It's a win-win in a
I love
way.
it.
So like that was our best way of settling it.
Dude,
Potentially.
are you gonna play some bet? Are you gonna cook up some bets for?
I will, and
for this game?
we can discuss those bets.
Yeah.
Um,
You're gonna
I guess
wake
the
up,
next episode. If
smell that New Jersey air next, on
I will-
Sunday
well, actually,
morning
I have
and
to
be
be-
like, bro,
I have to think about this because there's different gambling rules in the States.
gotcha.
So I'm gonna have to get a different app or something. Even
You
to
could probably
gamble.
even just walk into like a, I don't know.
That'd be baller. Walk
Caesars,
into an actual
like, betting
spot
place.
and be like, I'll just give him my money, like that
Or
Family
like
Guy
un-
meme,
or
and
like
they'll be
uncut gems.
Yeah.
Walk in with a
Yeah.
fucking bag of money. and be
No,
like,
it's like I don't know if you've seen the Family Guy meme where he like Peter walks in, he's like, "Here's my money," and the guy's like, "Are you gonna gamble on anything?" And he's like, "Nah." He just walks out. He's
no,
just-
I haven't seen that.
That's me basically when I gamble.
It's just that's all. But you go, same idea, but you go in and be like, all Jets, baby, and
Yeah.
it's fucking on the table.
Just
Give me
$100.
Yeah.
Just gone.
Jets win. Jets over. Zach Wilson's on for 300. Yeah.
I think that could happen. Maybe
Ab-
those would be some legs. Maybe I'll do it.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, you have to let me know what let me know what you're cooking. We
I'll
can discuss it next week.
I could post it on our Instagram account for our faithful viewers.
I
You
like
can,
that.
Stay tuned.
Absolutely.
For my what was he cooking parlay.
What was he cooking? The Thanos meme is all time. And with that, episode 9 of Jets Up North podcast in the books. As always, we thank you for flying with us today. It was another banger. I am pumped for this game. The battle of I always think the Snoopy Bowl is one of my favorite. Like Giants is always a fun, exciting matchup.
It
that
is,
week.
and it's
a
like they're not
rivalry.
really rivals. Like I
No.
don't see them as rivals. We're just kind of like siblings,
Yeah.
bickering in a way.
There is absolutely potential for the Giants to turn their season around against the Jets and leave
Totally.
3-5,
This
and
is
all
like
of a
a
sudden,
get right game
for
for
them.
both teams.
Yeah,
Like in a way,
true.
like this
And
is a game. This is like a pivotal point for both teams' seasons. I'd say.
I would agree. And I mean, every game is a must win in the NFL, but I would say
Definitely.
this is definitely along with that.
Yeah.
And with that, that'll be the end of the episode. We thank you for flying with us today. I already said that, but I'll say it again. And we'll be back next week with another Jets Up North podcast episode.
Peace.
Peace out.